Hello and welcome to Wolfman Gaming. This is my Layers of Fear 2 blind playthrough. And in the last episode we fled through a big hedge maze that felt very inspired by the end of The Shining, Stanley Kubrick's adaptation of the old Stephen King novel. A movie adaptation. In the last episode, I talked a lot about... What the hell? That looks like a mix of something from like Silent Hill and Bloodborne. I can understand that.
Come on, there's nothing left for us here.
Okay. I believe you. Yes, I talked about adaptation of video games into movies. And
is it over? No, Mr. Hardy. It's only just beginning.
Cool. Once again back in the cinema room. So what are we watching this time? A lighthouse. The Evil Within, anyone?
My spirits,
The Tempest.
as in a dream, are all bound up. My father's loss, the weakness which I feel.
And I hope we're done with this part by now, because this is... I'm getting tired of running through the same vent over and over again.
Breathe.
That is a really cool... What is it? Like an amulet? Something? I like that one. Oops. Act 4. Breathe. Yes, what I was saying... I talked a lot about adapting video games into movies, and that they don't always fare very well. And the same thing could go for when they try to adapt books into movies. Wow. Did we get a visit from Poison Ivy? I would almost guess so. Let's see. We picked up number 4. So let's play that one.
Tell me, James, do you like sitting here in the park?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I think I do. Out here, I could be anyone.
Truly? You can be anyone you want.
I think I don't need to be. I can play anyone I want.
Alright. Yes, I talked about character. Go all the way. Let your heart bleed. Yes, let's talk about... Because something that is very popular is to make movies out of Stephen King books. And there are examples of when it goes great. Shawshank Redemption is the first one that comes to mind. That is one of the few instances, having read the rather short story that the movie is based on, I think it's I think it almost takes longer to watch the movie than to read that story. But build a character, turning points, step back, breathe, remember, moments that changes one's life, crossed out, scars that define them. I think that movie is actually better than its the novella it's based off.
shall be a vast shout, and then a vaster silence.
Okay. That felt very ominous. Act 4, breathe. Yes, I think the movie is better than the short story it's based on. Much to do with the outstanding and great chemistry in between Morgan Freeman and Tim Robbins. They play off each other so naturally. They go so well together. They are both very mellow, very withdrawn. We are so close, I can feel it. There can be no doubt, no hesitation. Only will, unbreakable. That is what we have. That is what we are in the end. That sounds like lyrics from like a hardcore music song. Or maybe like a song by Hatebreed or Biohazard or something. Maybe even Napalm Death. But yes, also The Green Mile, great movie adaptation. That adaptation, I read the book just before it went in cinema as a movie. From Chief Security Officer to all crew, attention, stowaways on board, 2 of them most likely children, have been sighted on the lower decks near the cargo hold. I call upon any available crew members to be on the lookout for a boy and a girl roaming around the ship unattended. They are to be apprehended on sight. Where was I? Yes, The Green Mile. Great adaptation. As I said, I read that book. I finished it just a few weeks before the movie went up on cinema, and I went to watch it, and I felt, after having watched that movie, also great actors in that one. Tom Hanks for one, and Michael Clark Duncan playing the role of John Coffey, the black man who is sentenced to death row for killing 2 little girls. If you haven't read the book or seen the movie for some reason, even though I think the movie is like 20 years old at this time, I'm not gonna spoil it, but it is a great drama. I am lost. No, I am not. I am lost. Either way, after having watched that movie, I almost felt I could have skipped reading the book, because it is, as far as I can remember, I haven't read the book since. That the movie was almost verbatim what happened in the movie. And also, I mustn't forget Sam Rockwell playing the role of Wild Bill, I think they call him. He calls himself Billy the Kid. Amazing acting. He is always great in movies, and he is awesome at playing creeps. And he is never creepier than he is in that movie. If you haven't seen it, check it out. But then there are the times where it doesn't work so well. I would say, and this might be very unpopular, I'm not a big fan of it. I think the original adaptation is decent. It has aged very badly, and the last minutes with the spider and the death lights and all that has always been shit. They didn't even get away with that back in those days. What the hell am I missing? I'm just running in circles talking about Stephen King stories. But... oh, hold the phone. I think we're making progress.
Are you not afraid of death?
Some people believe in nothing, and so they live for nothing. To live without belief is more terrible than dying.
Okay. Yes, I have... and the new adaptation that came out a few years ago, that is where I came from. I'm heading this way. The one thing I think the first movie, the miniseries, did better than the new version is in the new version the kids...
Lily, Captain, I found it. But it's empty. It's all gone.
all the kids in the
Steady
original
yourself,
version
Master. Return to the hideout.
got
Keep searching on my own.
their time in the spotlight.
I
They were
said
all
go.
given space. They were all given screen time. In this version, as far as I can remember, it felt like they were so cramped together they were almost like stepping on each other's toes while acting. The only one that stood out and which I really think deserves some recognition is the girl who played Beverly March as a kid. I have no idea what the actor's name is, and I don't know if she has starred in any other roles before or after, but I think her work in that...
Be there for her. Like she was for you.
Absolutely. Was, as I said, outstanding. I think she acted the pants of all the other ones in that movie. And none of the adaptations, that is the biggest problem I have, which has never translated well into the movie realm, is how scary Pennywise actually is. That is the thing, that is the one thing none of the movies get right. Because, of course, in the new version, he is, I would say, sorry Tim Curry, but how the character is portrayed is as a scarier character. Not saying that which one of the Skarsgård siblings it is that plays him. I can't remember if it's... think it might be Bill or Gustav. No, it's not Gustav. Either way, whichever one it is, he does a good job of portraying him. So did Tim Curry, in a sense. But in comparison to the book, where you realize that Pennywise is just a form, or a form that it takes. It has no real shape, and it is such a extremely powerful being. It devours worlds in all actuality. This is really trippy. And let's see, I'm doing something wrong, it seems. Or am I? And none of the movies really gets that right. And of course, that is one of those things that is hard to... I think it's easier to write than to portray in a movie without being extremely what's the word? Without almost becoming pretentious. Because you want to... there we go. Because you also want people to be able to take in the movie. Is Uggo behind me? Yes, he is. Bye, Uggo.
From one flame to another, but never your own.
And also, the director's voice, I mentioned that I recognized it. And that's true, I did. The director's voice is done by Todd, an actor. I think he's most famous, or the most famous. My relationship to him started with the old Candyman movies. Lose the character, find yourself. Find the character, lose yourself. Of course.
Some parts
Hey.
are not to be played. Some parts.
So let's see. Another slide. I feel in this game, I think I've been better at grabbing the collectibles than I was in the first game. But it has become obvious as well that I have missed quite a few of them. Once again, I feel like there are a lot of references. Because this also reminds me of The Shining. And of course this game is packed with movie references. Because it revolves around movies. And the first game that revolved around art had famous paintings by famous painters. If you have watched... Shit. And now it's one of those moments where you start wondering, is he still chasing me? I think he may have given up. Okay. This is maybe not a corridor we should dwell.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Don't tell me what to do. Now where's my sister? Is that her? Well, that was a fun sound to hear when you're playing with headphones. Alright, well, I am actually gonna end this episode right here, and we'll find out what kind of room we've ended up in the next one. But in the meanwhile, I want to thank you very much for watching, and I will see you again in my next video. So until next time, this is the Wolfman signing off.